and the retention, in the days that are, the first 3, now 4 days, has been very positive. Um, we are going to be a locked in team on both ends of the floor. Having NECA here, so it's a new voice. Her leadership has been very important, along with Skylar, just being a point guard and having that presence. But identity is, first and foremost, being sharp in what we do, being prepared, being focused, and being disciplined.
And is there any update with Ezzy? Just when you think you'll get her back?
Yeah, Ezzy's just come off of an amazing run in Europe, getting to the Final Four and a championship with her Czech team. So we are on schedule to have her with us next week. So to give her some time to acclimate back to this time zone, get her body right, and ramp her up into practice then.
Awesome. Thanks, Coach.
Kind of to continue with the updates thing, do you have anything on Jordan? I know it was like an ankle tweak. Is it just kind of
Yeah.
making sure you take care of that?
Yeah, she's doing well, progressing well. I think that we'll see her in practice shortly, but we're being mindful that, I know we have our preseason games, but we're preparing for a game on the 14th as well. So making sure she's strong and ready to go. But as far as everything else with Jordan, her shoulder and all of those things that she took care of in the off season, she's very strong and healthy.
And then, I mean, the conversation's been happening for a while about roster size and making tough decisions. I mean, just how hard is it? You've got a lot of good veterans in here that you've signed through the offseason. Obviously, there's a lot of talk with your draft pick that's healthy this year. I mean, just how tough is it? Because, you talked about having a locked-in team. I mean, you're going to have to make tough decisions again.
Yeah, that's how you want camp to be, to be competitive and to, have those tough decisions to make. That means we're in a good spot, knowing that, we have to keep the very best roster that we can. And, sometimes salary cap and all those things come into play. But at the end of the day, this has been a very sharp, competitive, focused, locked in few days. And because of that, we've got some really good productivity from some athletes that we need to really take a hard look at. So yeah, we want camp to be hard. We want to we want them to make us make a tough decision or have to make a tough decision. And I love where our athletes are right now with that focus.
Again, it's early, but in what ways do you see maybe the style of play? You had to tweak your offense last year. What do you see it looking more like this year with Skylar and NECA, and Ezzy even better than she was last year?
How I wanted it to look last year. Our spacing, is good. It's good. We have an inside presence with NECA, and so if you think about, focusing on our principles of our spacing, the room in which NECA has to operate or our post players have to operate, utilizing a player like Skylar in ball screens, but also her ability to create for others and draw defenses and make the right reads. So I didn't want to go too far away from, our spacing and our principles for last season and continue to find beauty and simplicity and making sure that, I'm not putting so many things in because we have so many amazing athletes, but making sure we're executing the simple things at a high rate.
And then just the chemistry that you're seeing develop. We saw videos of it, but between Jewel and Skylar and just their relationship early on.
They've had reps. They went to college together. They won a lot together. And it's just, I liken it to a family reunion again. You don't see your family for some time, but when you come back, it's all love. And obviously it's business as well, because we're on a mission to, try to compete at a high level. And this is, basketball is our jobs, but they didn't, there are different points of their lives as well. They were college athletes, now they're pros. Sky's a mom. Jewel is a businesswoman and, has done so many great things in this organization. And so I think, it's great to see that chemistry be seamless.
We learned about the new WNBA timeout rules today.
You're going to ask. I knew it.
How much time have you had to think about how those are going to change things? And do you like the second challenge and then the reset?
Yeah. There are a couple of nuances with the timeouts, right? So we have our 5 timeouts and we have our reset. But, if we are successful with that first timeout, we may lose it depending on what that mandatory is looking like. So there are nuances in that, but also knowing that the reset is available. How do we game plan for that? We've talked about it a lot because we knew this rule was going to change. We had a coaches retreat. We kind of hashed out our thresholds with things as it relates to challenges. But we talked about the technology as well. We can have multiple devices on the bench, as it relates to making sure we get those challenges correct if possible, or close to making good calls on wanting to take those challenges. But I love it. I love it for the game. We're growing in a lot of ways. The reset has not come to the NBA yet, but the G League has had reps with that. So we've watched clips with some strategy around reset as it relates to play calls or how you do it, and understanding that the reset, it has the same rules as a timeout, so you can't bounce that ball on that event. So little nuances that we actually went over today in practice at the beginning, and I want to try to get some reps at it in our preseason games.
Coach, we're going to take some questions from Zoom now. We'll start with Willie Ramirez. Willie, go ahead.
Thank you. Hey, Noah, how are you?
Well, how are you, Willie? Good to see you.
Good to see you too. You talked about the how they NECA and Sky have come and brought sort of an energy, right? They're very powerful personalities. Jewel's a veteran now. I think last year, even though we saw her a couple of years ago in Sue's last year, really emerge. How different of a player and a leader is Jewel, and is it making it easier for her to sort of establish her presence among the personalities all together, and sort of bringing it together, and also helping bring the rookies in and sort of creating an entire chemistry? But I mean, in essence, it's Jewel's team with these two new powerful presences.
I think they've done a great job because there's different leadership styles. Jewel had to step up her leadership in a way that she hadn't had to in her career. And so the fact that she got the experience with it and found her voice and understood what leadership looked like for her. Now you bring in two amazing, like you talked about, their presence is felt by just being on the court, but also with their voices and how they lead, how they're showing the rookies to show up early and get their pre-practice work in. They're showing the rookies how to take care of their bodies, and all of us, really, not just rookies, our entire team. But also their leadership fits with Jewel's leadership. Jewel may lead one way, NECA may have another way to lead as the Skylar. So right now what I'm seeing is complementary leadership. They both said it before they came to Seattle. We know that this is Jewel's team. And I think that they're learning each other and creating synergy on the court, but also they're seeing how each other can find ways to utilize their voices in moments. And it's been really good to see them interacting with that aspect of what we need from a leadership standpoint.
Thanks, Willie. Nikias, go ahead, Nikias.
Hi, Coach. Hope you're doing well, first and foremost. A two-parter on Jordan. You mentioned she isn't with you yet. One, did you have any thoughts she played both forward spots last year during the year. Is there a particular spot that you feel more comfortable with her at the 3 versus the 4? And overall, how do you kind of balance her complimenting the stars that you have on the roster now and also giving her room to kind of explore her game?
Yeah, I thought Jordan did a great job of, she started out the year defending right off the bat Stewie, Asia, Natasha Howard, and ended the year guarding Kelsey Mitchell, and Jackie Young. So what I really learned is that we want to keep her at the 3, and have her, and that's her comfort. She's a guard, but even though she's versatile, I wanted to see if small ball could potentially be something that we leaned on. And I thought that she did a good job toward the end of the year, just finding some comfort there. And to the point of, her role, starting on the defensive end first, because she has an ability to guard multiple positions from point guard to now, because she got the reps guarding those forwards. She understands the physicality. She understands how to use her length. And so we're starting on the defensive end first. If you think about a lot of the shots that Jordan got, she missed a lot of bunnies last year, and her percentages show that the work that she's doing in the off season and has done, she's going to be way more efficient in that area. So her cuts, her transition to the rims, her goal catches, those are the things that she's going to get within our offense. And because she's worked on her game, it's going to be natural, it's going to be more comfortable, and everything else is icing on the cake. When you have 4 players, including Ezzy on the floor, who can do a lot within your offense, Jordan is going to get in where she fits in, but where she fits in is doing those intangibles. Like I said, cutting, spacing, moving, and this year she's going to knock down some shots.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We got time for 2 more questions. We'll go one from Brad Lake, then one from Blake. So Brad, why don't you go ahead, and then Blake, you'll wrap us up.
Yes, hi. Well, how are you? It's Bradley from WBB Nation and WNBA Swish. As you guys are getting ready to play in the Canada game, can you speak to how important that is to you since you were assistant coach for the women's team there and league?
I love that we're going to Canada. Edmonton has a lot of great roots. Think about the Edmonton grads and what that team did for the community. To be able to go and bring our game to that community and show, our game on a global scale is important. I've had an amazing time with Canada basketball, met some amazing people, learned a lot. We're going to Olympics this year, so I'm very proud to be a part of that team and to have an ability to come and play the Sparks and in that arena, in that environment, in that community means a lot. Canada loves basketball, supporting women's basketball, and the game is growing at an amazing level. And for us to be able to share that with Canada, it will be special. It's going to be fun, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks for that, Brad. And Blake, wrap us up.
Oh, hey, Coach. This is Blake Spadaro from Blake's Take. Having all this talent on the roster with NECA, Skylar, Jewel, and Ezzy, what is the biggest challenge as a coach trying to deal with all the great personalities and different skill sets?
Keeping it simple. Just because we have a lot of talent, my mind goes to, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. But at the end of the day, again, there's beauty and simplicity. Wanting them to feel comfortable, putting them on the floor where they can be successful. The challenge is accelerating the synergy and the chemistry within a week and a half or 2 weeks. And I have challenged my team to do a lot of that chemistry building off the floor. So what happens in the locker room, what happens in the weight room, what happens outside of this building is very important. Actually, what happens in this building is very important outside of the basketball court, for them to get to know each other, get a different level of care for each other, because at the end of the day, when we know that we're in this thing together, we just play harder for each other. And if we could get that chemistry accelerated, then I feel like the on-court stuff will be accelerated as well. Yes, there's some reality to the fact that we're new. It's not going to happen overnight. But my encouragement is that we're going to be disciplined in everything. We're going to be competitive in the way in which we approach every single day. And we don't want to peak too fast, but we want to get better every single day, every single chance we have to step on the floor. The personalities right now have been great. They're competitive as hell. And we missed some of that dog last year. And to be able to add elite athletes who want to compete at a high level with the young athletes who got a lot of reps, it's a recipe for something that can gain success, but I'm just taking it a day at a time.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks everybody.
All right,
thanks,
thank
Coach.
you.
We'll have Jewel Lloyd in here in just a moment. All right, and a reminder once again to hit that hand raise button if you have a question. We've got about 15 minutes with Jewel. We'll try to fly through as many questions as we can. We'll start here in the room. And Percy, why don't you kick us off? Or Charles.
Hey, Joe, how are you doing? Hey, I remember last year you guys did like this thing to like get to know each other, sort of off the court. I guess you sort of partnered up and kind of buddies type of a deal. This year you have 8 newcomers, and with your coach, she just talked about trying to accelerate that chemistry deal. How, what have you noticed in these just few days here to try to get that going?
Yeah, I mean, that's like the most important thing in camp is trying to um build chemistry. Obviously, when you have new people come to the team, that's the biggest thing is how fast can you guys understand the game of basketball together? How fast can you guys understand what each other like to do? So yeah, we still have accountability partners and just trying to break the ice every day and trying to figure out each other a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, that's why we have camp. It's to figure these things out. And I think every team has to do that just because every team has a different journey. Every team has a different, thing coming into camp. And so things change. Personnel changes. So for us, it's very important kind of just to ramp up our communication.
And who would be your accountability partner, and what types of things have you learned from that person?
Yeah, Tori, Vivian's, she's been awesome to get to know. On the other side, she's a Mississippi girl, which is I know a little bit about that. My mom's from Mississippi, so I understand that southernness. So it's been cool to get to know her. She brings in a different vibe, different energy to practice, and she's always joking around and causing me chaos all the time. But she's good people, and I'm excited to get to know her.
Jewel, Coach talked about how locked in this group has been in the last few days that you've had. How important to you is that to have it just where this intensity brings the best out of you guys, pressure makes diamonds sort of thing?
Of course, we have a focus coming in. We're dangerously disciplined. That's been our motto from the start of camp, and having this mindset that we're all here to work. We're all here to get each other better, and so there's going to be a level of competition that we haven't felt in a couple of years. To be honest with you, it was really stagnant just because we knew who our team was. It was just right away practice. Now it's, we're trying to get to another level, and so we brought in people that were able to do that, can do that, have been like that the whole careers. And so, this group is definitely so intentional about everything that we do and how we go about it. And everyone's in the weight room, everyone's getting treatment, everyone's trying to figure out how can they be better. There's no egos. We're all trying to push each other. But once we compete, it's definitely a different vibe in the gym.
And then to kind of build off what Percy said, with the kind of the accountability buddies thing, I don't know if you and Jordan were that last year, but I know there was several instances where it felt like you were kind of a role model or a teacher for her. What have you seen from her growth wise, obviously through last year? I know she spent a lot of the offseason here rehabbing, but just seeing her grow from, last year's camp to where we are right now.
Yeah, I wasn't her accountability partner, but when you have someone who's so talented and is looking for someone to help them, it's kind of inevitable that I'll be that person for Jordan. And this offseason was a big one for her. I brought her out to Chicago. She was with me for about a month, and it was really cool to see that and for her to see me away from the facility and things like that, and to see what my regimen is. And so she was really I don't know. I think just aware of a lot of things. It's not just about the reps you got on the court, but also outside of basketball. And I think that's the biggest thing with Jordan is making sure that mentally she's locked in. Physically, she's all there, and we know she's has high potential in this league. But I think for her, it was important to see who she is outside of basketball and who she could be. And that's what we see now. She's coming back. She's talking more. She's right and engaged in everything we do. So that's pretty cool to see.
Hey, Jewel, good to see you.
Hey,
Last year, obviously, like you handled the pressure really well, but you had to do a lot of scoring and a lot of shooting. And just curious what it feels like already with Skylar and NECA involved. And then, as he's coming back as an improved player this year too.
For sure. Adding Skylar and NECA and, the development of Ezzy, Jordan, you're right, Sadie's, it's always trying to figure out, what makes sense, what feels more natural, the most natural, so none of us are thinking. There's been a couple times in practice where, I probably would have taken that shot last year or the year before, where now I'm seeing other, extra passes, or I'm looking a little bit more to try to figure out how I can get them in a rhythm. So I think the shots will still probably be there. I think some of it might be even easier because I don't have to do everything. There's another guard that can penetrate. Skylar does a phenomenal job getting into paint, collapsing defenses, and her ability to kick the ball out. We've seen that, work amazingly. And then we have NECA, who's another point guard. Any pick and rolls, anything like that, traps should be a little bit easier just because now they have to worry about NECA coming off and making a decision. So it makes it a little bit easier, but I think I'll still probably guard it the same. Those looks will still be there. I think maybe it's a little bit more catch and shoots, so personnel will be different. But yeah, I mean, my game hasn't stopped and it's not going to stop growing. So I'm excited about it.
And then as one of the prominent players in the WNBA, what did you see from the college game this year and the growth with all the different personalities and incredible play? Like, what is your opinion of watching it from home?
Yeah, I think every couple of years there's a shift in the game of basketball. Definitely women's sports. There's been a shift. Right now, obviously, it's probably accelerated with NILs being NILs. College sports is just a different monster, different beast, and it just brings more awareness to the game of basketball on both sides, and the skill levels there too. I think people are training way more. They're trying to, build their brand early on, which wasn't a thing, and that's just the time that we're in. So I think that's why we see the shift is happening now. But we need the evolution of basketball to keep evolving, and that's just what it is now, and we're seeing it. And now we have our moment, we have the eyes on us, and so now it's time for us to really put on a show.
Hey, Joel, how was the State Farm commercial film, and what sort of reactions have you gotten since it started airing?
Yeah, that was super fun. It's my first commercial. It wasn't extremely long, as in just getting content. Maybe I'm just a one-hit wonder, but it was really cool to have that there, and I hope it's many more that come up that way. I feel like people have been receiving it and they enjoyed. A lot of people have been texting me about it and saying, it's one of their favorite things now during playoffs, depending on how good the games are. But it was really fun. So I have that side of me, and it's cool that other people could get to see that side as well.
We got 7 minutes left. We're going to take some questions from the Zoom. We'll start with Masvita, and then we'll go to Willie.
Hey, Joel. Everybody's talked about, this is your team. From a leadership perspective, what does that mean? And is in intentionality, is there some things you're trying to accomplish early on in the season to set that tone from a leadership perspective?
Yeah, I think I obviously have been here the longest on this roster. I've seen all sides of the storm, good, the bad, ugly, all those things. I think it's very clear that NECA and Sky have said both that it's my team. I think that's fair. That's been out there. I don't think we have that coming to practice where it's like, no, this is what I do, and I'm over demanding anything. Honestly, I feel like the biggest comparison that I told Noe and told NECA and Sky, like this is my set where I'm a DJ, and my job is to balance the levels, understand the vibe of what's going on, add here and there, checking on people. So that's kind of how I am this year. It's like I understand this is everyone's coming to the set, but I might have some features here and there, and I'm looking to elevate that when I can.
Thanks, Maz. Willie, and then we'll go to Christian.
Hi, Jewel. Maz actually touched on what I was going to ask you in terms of Noe telling us that before they even got there, they said it's your team. Does that help? Does it, when you have two powerful personalities like that come in, though, does it sort of balance things out? Last year, you sort of carried the load after Stewie departs and Sue retires, and now it just seems like there's a nice balance there. Does that take some pressure off? Is it for your mental game? Does it help sort of just even things out?
I mean, I've been in a lot of these situations before. I prepare myself to be ready for every situation possible. So adding Skylar and NECA, we have a relationship beyond just this season. I've got to know them. I know them for a while, and we always had a talk that we could play together. There's a respect level there, and I think that's what makes it a smooth transition because there's not competition. There's not any egos with everyone here. They understand what we're all trying to do. And so for me, it's got to be myself. The same way I tell them to do, be themselves, show up and do what you do. That's why you're here. I have no problem with sharing the spotlight. I have none of that. That's kind of my personality which is why I said my job is to be the DJ. I'm not trying to dominate anything or make someone feel little. We need everyone to be a part of this team, everyone to lock in and buy in. And I respect that they have said that publicly on their own accord. And like I said, I need them, they need me, and we need each other to get what we want to do done.
Thank you. Real quick, you got a DJ name yet?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Thanks, Willie. We'll go to Christian and then Brad Lake after that. Christian, go ahead.
Hi, Joe. Hope you're doing well. The day after setting the league's new single scoring record, you signed your contract extension. From that day forward to today, throughout the offseason, how's it been for you? How would you characterize it as far as the draft, the offseason, as far as new talent coming in? Of course, Skylar and Nneka, but also, returning 8 players, and how's that been fitting so far?
I feel good. I felt obviously I wasn't ready to leave. I felt like there's still something here, still something I had to do here and be involved with. The community obviously embraced me. And last year and the vision I saw for this team and where it could go allowed me to feel confident in my decision to stay. Off season, I was very probably aggressive with what I wanted and what I needed to be here. The people I wanted to be here. I got everything that I asked for and demanded, which I respect from the ownership group. They've been doing a phenomenal job making sure I got everything that I needed and more. So I definitely appreciate that. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that happened in the offseason was dedication and the pursuit from Pokey. Pokey was phenomenal. Without her, I don't think we get what we need to get done. So I praise her and her efforts and what she has done for us here, but also for herself. Promoting her was a big thing that I really thought we needed, and I'm happy that it happened. But yeah, I mean, every year, every journey, every story comes together differently. We're excited about it. Everyone's coming back. Feeling a little bit more confident. I think the last push of season kind of opened up a lot of people's eyes, our teams, that we can have a future here. We can build something here, and allow people who are rookies is build them more confidence. Allow them to see that they are supposed to be here, that they can play in the league. And so now coming into season, everyone feels a little bit more steady, comfortable, ready to go. So we're excited.
Thanks, Christian. And we'll go to Brad Lake, and then we'll have one more question here in the room.
Hi, Joel. How are you? Bradley from WBB Nation, WNBA Swish. Earlier in the year, you were in South Africa as part of Ball for Her. That's the league movement for gender equality and celebrating women in sports in Africa. Can you speak of your time doing that and how important that this is for the W?
It's super exciting. It's my first time going to Africa, and it was a great experience to meet the women there and hear their stories, see all the things that they encounter and trying to play basketball, trying to get to the next level. The biggest thing is obviously resources, and I feel like we haven't done enough to really help them. So I take it upon myself that I will be doing a lot more work over there with the resources that I have to share with them. And I'm planning to do a camp hopefully next year or two in Soweto. So I'm excited about that. But it's phenomenal to go over there and see the joy. That's the beauty of sports in general, is you see the joy that it brings to people. It gives people hope, and that's what we saw. And the culture, the music, the food was just amazing, and I can't wait to go back.
Hey, Joel. My apologies if you already asked this or something like this, but if you can think back to when you were a rookie, what were maybe some of the biggest challenges, either on or off the court, that you had to face in that first season? And do you think that this rookie class faces a different set of challenges because maybe the attention has been ramped up even more on this group coming into the league than maybe when you came in several years ago?
For me and my story, I was one of the first people to leave college early, which was not normal. I was the first pick. I left Notre Dame, so my pressure was a little different because it was never been done before. Yeah, it's probably different than what they go through now, but I'm not them. We obviously know how hyped this rookie class has been. Like I said, I think a lot of that's from NIL, the shift in women's basketball. But honestly, anything that helps the game evolve is what we want. And if they're able to do that, great, right? At the same time, I know every rookie class, every person coming to the league, whether you're a 30-year-old rookie or a 24-year-old rookie or a 21-year-old rookie, there's a shift. That's just life. So there's pressure regardless of what you put on yourself or things like that. But at the end of the day, everyone in the league has pressure because you're getting paid to play. So you got to produce regardless of how old you are, whatever it is. So if you don't feel the pressure to do good, then I don't know what motivates you or how you stay in the league.
All right. Thanks, Jewel. We
Yep.
appreciate your
Cool.
time.
Thank
We'll
you.
have Skylar Diggins-Smith in here in just a moment.
I mean, Garrett wouldn't kill me, but it's okay.
All right, Skylar, thanks for joining us. As a reminder, if you're on Zoom and have a question, hit the hand raise button. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. We'll start here in the room with Percy Allen. Percy, kick us off.
Hey, there's Skylar. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and you?
Good. What does dangerously disciplined mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, not cutting corners. And we talk about on this team, we don't really say the word sacrifice, we more so say investment. Being a pro, being prompt, showing up, not having to worry about the coach's coaching effort or energy, something that we can control from us. And it's really about the habits that we're forming. It's not really like a singular act, but it's more so about the habits that we're trying to form for ourselves and carry those into day to day, how we handle things from a microscopic vision. And hopefully those will pay off on the back end with our telescopic vision, what that is for us.
And and then obviously it's early, but your role this year on this team will be what?
I don't know, to be a leader. I have the ball in my hands, I'm sure. But to be a leader and to really execute, know he's playing for us, game to game, scouting report, things like that. Being a vet, being a pro for this team. And it's easy when you play with great players to do those things.
Talking about that leadership a little bit, what has it been like for you to kind of lend your voice to some of the younger players here? Obviously you're working on your own game and there's a lot to compete for, but just kind of passing along your knowledge. What has that been like for you with someone perhaps like Nika?
Yeah, it's been really good. I've honestly, this is my first camp in 2 years. So I've been asking some questions too. But I think they've done a good job really just, seeing how we do things, how we approach things. It's more so that next level when I talk about like how to be a pro and how you maneuver kind of around from all these things you have to do, preparation, getting ready for practice, execution and things like that. And they've done a great job asking questions. And, I'll feel somebody come up beside me and say, hey, what do you think about this? And so it's been great dialogue, but that's really what it's been throughout the whole team. Even me asking questions to the ones that were here last year, playbook specific things. Yeah, when you do this and do that. So it's been a lot of dialogue, vets and rookies alike, just bouncing things off of each other, off of the coaches. And so I think it's helped us be really productive throughout these days.
Jewel mentioned that the best comparison for her this year is she's like the DJ. It's her set.
Oh, okay.
She's like checking levels and has some features here and there. What do you think? How do you fit into that? Because you both, Nneka, and you both said like this is Jewel's team, but you're also a point guard, so the ball's gonna be in your hands a lot.
Yeah.
How do you fit into that?
I mean, we got to get a sample size first. All this is that we're talking about is theoretical, what it would look like, but we have to get a little sample size under our belt to clearly define that. And I would, defer that to Noe even. So I'm just really doing what I'm told right now. And it's a lot of learning. It's a lot of information, taking it in, for me, system wise, trying to see where people like it, when they want it, at what time, and trying to make those things come together, time, score, possession things, language, because we have a lot of different, lingo in basketball. So getting to learn theirs and Noe's. And so, yeah, it's a lot of that will probably come more so better when we maybe 5 games in, 7 games in, where I would probably have a better, more accurate answer for you with that. Philosophically, yeah, to take care of the basketball, be a leader on the floor, an extension of Noe and executing, what she wants to get executed and getting the ball to Jewel and Nneka early and often.
You were someone who definitely brought more attention to the WNBA when you came in. What do you think it feels like to be entering the league at this point when there are more numbers than there ever have been on the WNBA draft? And, it seems like there's a fresh new generation that have a lot of eyes on them.
Yeah, it does feel similar. A long time ago, but similar in the sense that when we came in, EBG and Elena, they did this rebranding. I don't know if you guys remember, we're in the league during that time where they did this big rebranding thing. And, they kind of put the 3 to C, and I was like, don't put me in that shit. Don't put me in there. Because, put a little target on my back. I'm coming in with 2 generational, talents. But yeah, obviously it's a lot more ways to watch our game, how they write about our game. The diversity of journalism could be better. People that hire who writes about our game, but we're starting to see a little more storytelling, people trying to tell those stories. And yeah, with the new generation, obviously, just the hype around, the last few college seasons, the spreading of talent. And I think NIL has a little bit to do with that. I know I stayed home, but not a lot of people stayed home back then. People were going to the power schools, and now the talent is spread out, which equals more parity, which, yada, yada, yada. So, but I'm looking forward to having those rookies who make the team, in the league. I'm looking forward to competing against everybody sitting out last year. So I'm looking forward to competing against everybody.
Skylar, speaking of staying out last year, how does going through a year like that change your perspective if at all, as you come back to this season?
Yeah, it's a lot different than the first time I was out for maternity leave. But yeah, you get to see a lot of things obviously from the outside looking in. You get to see everybody play. You get to see how people coach. You get to see the officials, from a different perspective. You get to see fans and how to access the game just from a fan standpoint, and so I got to see a lot of things last year. How people move, how would I be guarding, just kind of taking myself and kind of hypothetically putting myself in these situations, not knowing what team I'd be on, but knowing a different team. But yeah, it just gives me a greater sense of appreciation, especially at my age. Not a lot of people get to play in the league this long. And so I definitely don't take anything for granted. And just being really present, I think, just being present where my feet are, instead of trying to read what the future will hold or thinking about the past. I think this year is really about just me being in a peaceful mindset. I feel very confident as a mother, feel very confident as a vet in this league. And so just really trying to be grateful, and just be present where my feet are.
Off that last question, it's just a preseason, but what are you feeling as you prepare to get back on a WNBA court again?
I feel a lot of things. I'm just like super emotional, like I'm excited, I'm nervous, I'm anxious. It's like that we keep all this hype and talking about it. It's like, let's just throw it up already, throw the ball up already. I'm looking forward to it though, especially with this just tremendous group that we have here. The staff, just the most by far that I've learned from a staff, especially in camp this early. I love the way they communicate, and they coach us up and they coach us hard, and that's why I came here, to be coached, and so that's something I'm really excited about is having them on the sideline. It gives me even a greater sense of confidence going into this season with a new team.
Got time for a couple questions on Zoom. We'll start with Christian Braswell, and then we'll go to Willie Ramirez. Christian, go ahead.
Hi, Scott. I hope you're doing well.
Hi.
You've been a leader at every stop that you've been at. I mean, you can talk about high school, college, Notre Dame, every stop that you've been at as far as the W, where the team is moving from Tulsa to Dallas. How have you adjusted through camp, noticing where that experience has helped other players and where it shined through?
Yeah, I guess when I hear leader on this team, I just like feel old, Christian.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's like they just throw that out there. But I think it's from how I approach the game. I'm super intense. I'm competitive. I don't really take plays off, and and then that's how they, coaches want to see that on both sides of the basketball. And so I guess that's why they say leader, because it's more like from an example. How I approach, how I prepare for the games. How I prepare for practice, how I take care of my body after. All those things has come from being in this league so long and kind of learning from my other teammates, if you will, and learning what not to do. I've been injured in this league before, and so on and so forth. And so I've definitely just a culmination of things that I've learned from, my vets or, other players or, just how I approach the game is what I hear. And it don't feel like any pressure to me. This is who I am. And so it's really just, I don't feel like I fit in here, but I definitely feel like I belong here.
Thanks, Christian. And we'll go to Willie and then Nikias.
Hi, Skylar.
Hi.
If I may, I want to take your mindset out of Seattle and off yourself for a moment. I'm writing a major feature on a veteran point guard that you saw up close in the WNBA finals. When I say Courtney Vandersloot, what do you think and what comes to mind?
Control. just control. You know, somebody that I really admire a lot, the way that she plays the game. And, you know, we've had asides during our time in this league to just be able to say, man, I love playing against you, because I always learn something about myself when I play against her on both sides of the ball. Or maybe she just exposes those things. She definitely is an all-time great in our league when it comes to point guards and players in general. And, you know, she's just so unselfish, always trying to get others involved. I love the way that she can command her team. She's always in control. She can see things 2 or 3, you know, steps ahead, her vision. But it's really just her mindset. You know, she has a incredibly high IQ, and you could hear it on the court, the way that she, you know, puts people in places, you know, maneuvers and manipulates, you know, on offense and defense. And so, yeah, it's an honor competing against her. And every time, you know, I learn something about myself when I leave that game. But, you know, we played each other when she was at Gonzaga and I was at Notre Dame. So we go way back. I think that was maybe 2010 or 2011. But yeah, she's amazing. I really admire her.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willie. And Nikias, and then let's see if we can sneak Blake in as well before we go.
All right, thank you. Hi, Skylar. Hope you're having a good one so far.
You.
Wanted to ask you about film watching really quickly. How have you evolved as a film watcher throughout your basketball career?
I've
And who have
always
been some
been
of
a
your
film
influences
watcher.
on that front?
I've always been a film watcher. Like, I do not understand this generation or whatever generation that says they don't watch basketball or don't watch the WNBA but you want to play in the WNBA. Like, I watch all kind of basketball. I'll watch a local game, high school, you know, college, G League, you know, NBA, I love watching the game. And maybe because, you know, I'm really passionate about it. So naturally, the finals, you know, playoffs, I've been watching the playoffs. And yeah, I just think as a basketball player, that's how you gain knowledge of the game, you know, conceptually, how I think about the game, time, score, possession, just talking it through and things like that. So I love it. And it really started heavy too. When I was at Notre Dame, I watched a lot of film with Neil, Coach Ivy and Coach McGraw. They really got me into where you was watching every practice, every game. And sometimes you'll watch clips that's not even yours. You watch your other teammates' clips. This is what she likes to do. You know, this is what she likes to do. And it helped me learn a lot about my teammates as well. So I think it's essential to watch it as a team as well as individually. You know, just you got to watch basketball.
Okay, we got time for one last one from Blake. Go ahead, Blake.
Hey, Scholar, this is Blake Spadero from Blake's Take. What was the big selling point of picking Seattle as your free agency destination?
Yeah, I watched a lot of Seattle play last year. Their system, I like their coaching staff. Noe, I played against Noe. I played against Ebb. Obviously, Pokey's been on the other sideline, you know, for years on the sideline as a head coach. So I was kind of familiar with, you know, the women of this staff. I love how they communicate, the ownership group, how they invest. The practice facility was amazing. You know, we literally want for nothing here. And, you know, I wanted to play with Jewel. That was a big thing for me, playing with Jewel, teaming up with people that I knew. And then, yeah, all those things. I really liked how they played the game last year. And yeah, I wanted to be a part of it. And when it became a possibility, and then NECA was like the icing on the cake. So it just kind of worked out. I could see this, you know, it's actually started happening off conversations that I really didn't know what was going on when Phoenix was trying to shop me around. And so Seattle called and it was like, well, I'm 8 months pregnant, so I can't come right now, but let's have these conversations again next year. And so it kind of set us up for, you know, being a team that I was really interested in and paying attention to last year.
Thank you for your time, Skylar. We appreciate it. And we'll have NECA in here in just a moment. All right, we'll go ahead and start with NECA, and we'll start with questions here in the room and then go to our Zoom questions. Percy Allen, start us out.
Hey there.
Hi.
Hey, in 2 days, you play a game in Canada. It's not LA, but you'll play your former team for the first time. Just any thoughts? How are you feeling about that?
I mean, I'm ready to play. I think that I'm excited to be here in Seattle. I'm happy about the chemistry that we're building. I'm very grateful to be in a facility that's fostering our growth, to be coached by the staff that we have. I think I'm just really more so excited that we get to play a game, and I haven't been to Canada before. So I'm looking forward to that too.
And then just on like Jordan Horston, sorry, like in this lineup with you sort of four all-stars out there, what things have you told her? What things are you looking from her this year? And I'm just trying to figure out, what does success look like for her this year?
I mean, I think that someone like Jordan, she has so much to absorb in all the different types of players that we have on the team. She's actually my designated accountability partner. So I spend a little extra time with her. I just try to let her know, like, it's cool to just be yourself, to chill, but also to put yourself in a position to succeed, being able to come out here and see who she can learn from. It's going to be way more valuable than she thinks, and she can just kind of emulate the leadership that she sees, but then also just be her young self. I think that she's really authentic in her way, and bringing that to the court is something that we need.
Becca, you've never been to Canada?
I haven't.
Never.
Never.
Was it weird the first few days here, just because you'd been in LA for so long? Did it feel odd, strange, different, or do you feel like everything is kind of just melded in perfectly so far?
Not at all. It felt like it just felt very seamless for me. I was actually just talking to Sky about this. Um, I I always respect and honor where I've come from. But when life throws changes and transitions, I move on quite well. Like, I think especially if it's something that had to do with my decision, I'm really good at like seeing what's in front of me and figuring out what I want to create out of that. And so being here, it felt like in a sense, like it felt like I was like home in a weird way. It feels like so many things have aligned. And home is more like figurative because like I've known Skylar for so long. I've been connected with Noe. I played with Eb. I've always been connected with Pokey. I've always talked to Jewel about wanting to play together. Even Ezzy, like, we've always stayed connected, with our Nigerian heritage. And so being able to come here and kind of like feel it all come together, it feels very comfortable.
And then this is off topic from that, but what do you remember about when you came into the league 12 years ago, and what attention there was on your draft class versus maybe what this draft class is receiving with them coming into the league at this point?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, for my draft class, I just remembered the range of talent that was available, and the different people in my class and where they went kind of suited their talent. I don't really remember there being like, I guess in some cases like three to see, these two players, and of course social media wasn't nearly what it was when we first got drafted. But I always like to say that back in 2012, that was more of an era where it was kind of like teams took the best available player, and I feel like the game is evolving to where teams are taking both a combination of like the best available player, but also the player that works for their system. I think that different teams have like, I guess, like more distinct characterizations now. And so I implored upon the rookies. I was like,
the game has evolved to a point where like you don't need to really care as much about like what number you got drafted because teams are drafting what they need, you know, and it's on you to just go to wherever you're selected because they wanted you. They wanted you there. And ensure that you go there and you just be yourself. And so I think that with the evolution of the game, that's kind of changed a bit.
Jewel mentioned there's a bit of a fire in practices that she's already seeing that hasn't been here in a few years and like got stagnant almost. What do you think you bring in terms of the competitiveness and the edge and the fire, I guess? And is it refreshing for you, or is it something that you kind of set the tone?
I mean, I think it's a combination of both. I think the beauty of the composition of this team is that we have so many different styles of leadership. You know, me, Sky, and Jewel, we've talked a lot about how we feel we can add value and present to the team and what we can do in our own individual ways. But then we also leaned into like our vulnerabilities, like, hey, this is what I need to work on. For me, there's definitely a burden lifted in not necessarily having to always be the one to solve the problem. And I'm getting used to that. You know, I think I've been in that space for so long that I started forgetting how fun it is to just play and compete. But being here, I'm able to bring my own leadership style. Like I didn't always start off, you can ask Tara, I didn't always start off as like a vocal leader, but I found my voice and I found a way to communicate with my teammates, both collectively and also individually, and making sure that I have a relationship with every one of my teammates. Now I think that conversely, I told Jewel and Sky this. I was like, I think that even though that's my strength, it's not something that I do to myself a lot. So being able to convince myself in my head, at least in the conversations I'm having in my head about, you know, my capabilities and what I could do and not overthinking things is something that they've been helping me with. And I think that that breeds a level of competition between everybody on the team. You know, I tout myself as being more of like an efficient and consistent player. And so at times I can corner myself into like not taking as many risks. But I mean, whether it's Ed, Pokey, Jewel, Sky, like everybody's like, no. Like you need to go to work, you know? I was saying that the first 3 days, like I haven't been used to playing with this much space, you know? There's so many threats on the court that by where I operate is it just feels freer, you know? And so I think that I'm expecting congestion and I'm overthinking things at times, but these days have helped me like work through that, just getting reps with all my teammates and also getting words of encouragement too from my coaches.
Take a couple questions here on the Zoom. Christian, why don't you start us out, and then we'll go to Brendan Potts.
Hey, Nick, I hope you're doing well. With Candace recently retiring, when you went to the Sparks, you know, originally got drafted there, you know, she was kind of in that leadership role, that vet role. Now, you're Seattle now. You spoke highly of the facilities and everything the team has done to really make you feel like this is your home. Like you said, home is figurative. How has that relationship that you've been building with Ezzy, like Coach Quinn mentioned during the intro presser for the new facility, that you guys have been bonding really well? How does that feel knowing that you're kind of in that role that Candace was in when you were drafted to Sparks?
I mean, it's a role I'm not unfamiliar with, even before getting drafted. I have 3 younger sisters, so like I'm pretty familiar with kind of being that figure in someone's life. But I think what makes my relationship with Ezzy so unique is that we kind of already have that basic connection, you know, with our heritage. But um, we've always cheered each other on, even when we weren't on each other's teams. And she is like, she's open, you know, she's open and she's willing. That's something that I made sure that I was when Candace was on the team. You know, when we were the Sparks, I wanted to make sure that I was open to learning, open to changing, open to understanding and growing. And I can see that from Ezzy from the jump. And I think it's I don't think she realizes how dangerous it is because like she is still very raw as a player. And she's already an all-star, but there's different levels that I can't wait to see her reach while I'm on the team. And I just want to help support her in that.
Thank you for that, Christian. Let's go to Brendan and then Willie Ramirez.
Yeah, hi NECA. I did have a kind of a follow-up question about Ezzy. Coach Quinn kind of talked about you Sky and Jewel, but also said don't forget about or people are gonna forget about Ezzy. What in your eyes makes her so unforgettable, or why shouldn't people forget about Ezzy?
Why shouldn't they, is what you're saying?
Yeah, why shouldn't they forget about Ezzy?
Well, you know, it's funny because like after media day and like Ezzy came in a couple days ago, so after media day, we were looking at our pictures and I was like, oh shoot, you know, people were saying like big three, but I was like, I think it's more like the Fantastic Four, you know. I really do feel like that because she holds her own, you know, she really does hold her own. And I think she's unforgettable because she's playing the full length of the court. You know, she's a threat everywhere. And I think that as I'll say it again, like I don't think she realizes how impactful she is on the game. And you can just tell that she wants to do well. She wants to win and she wants to do well. She wants to get better. And I'm very happy to have the Fantastic Four together for this season.
Thanks for that. We'll close out with Willie Ramirez. Willie, go ahead.
Hi, NECA. Noe reiterated what Jules said has been out there, and that you and Sky both said before you got there that this is Jules' team. But Noe also said this is a leadership by committee team, and there's so many powerful, personalities. But for you, what's most impressive about Jules' persona? What makes you stand back and say, maybe get in awe a little bit?
What I've noticed about being here every day with Jewel is like everything is a game for her, you know. There's no going through the motions for her, whether it's on the court, shooting, like warming up, like everything is competition. And that's something that I've observed, like outside of even just her saying anything about it. I can just tell that she wants to do everything in a competitive way. And that's a certain mentality that that takes people from being great to being legends. And you know, Sky and I, we wanted to match her fly. You know, we wanted to come here and match her fly and ensure that all we're doing is adding value. But I love it when I feel like I need to do more because my teammates are doing what they're doing. Like I want to be able to, I don't ever want to feel as though I'm not doing my part. I want to feel as though I'm pushing people. I want to push myself to the limits because my teammates are pushing me. And that's definitely something that Jewel does. And I think there's a lot to say, you know, not just in what makes Jewel Jewel, but also like her journey through last year and the free agency up until this point. You can tell that there was a lot of intention behind what type of team she wanted to lead and what type of team she wanted to play with this year. And that's a big part of why Sky and I are here in Seattle.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks very much, NECA.
Thanks, everyone.
We will have Nika Mule in here in just a moment. Thank you, Nika, for joining us. And we will open it up to questions here in the room and then take some questions on Zoom. Tim Booth, go ahead.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm wondering, I guess, first of all, how has the initial couple of days of camp gone so far?
It's been fun. It's been very competitive. A lot of learning, a lot of new things, a lot of being challenged, feeling challenged. But overall, you know, just getting to know everybody on and off the court, everybody in the program, the players, the coaches, just, you know, kind of connecting to them and figure out those relationships. So it's been a lot, but I like it. It's fun and competitive.
And you were probably asked this on draft night, but in case you weren't, how did you see sort of the conversation about where your draft placement was going to end up being change after that national semifinal game where you essentially guarded Caitlin the entire night?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like in my life, and that goes to that game and everything before the draft itself, I never thought of myself as ever being at the draft. I never thought of myself ever getting drafted. I'm not saying I didn't believe in it or didn't, work hard towards it. It was just something that seemed so far away and so much bigger than me that I was just kind of like, I kind of learned how to take it day by day and, just put my head down and work and be focused on each day at a time. So, didn't have any expectations of myself, didn't listen to other people's expectations of where I'm going to end up. It was more likely of me just, focusing on day by day. And I feel like that's my mentality and like how I approach the whole situation is the product of like me being at the draft in the end and just kind of finishing that whole story with like a happy ending, if I can say it that way. So,
Nika, welcome to Seattle, first off.
thank you.
How difficult or what of a challenge is it in the WNBA in general, even being a draft pick, trying to make a final roster?
Yeah. I mean, I can only tell you about half the challenges because I'm not on the roster yet and I haven't played a game yet. So I'd say a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure. Women's basketball is being watched more than ever. And I would be lying to say if there wasn't that pressure behind all those people, having expectations. But just trying to stay present, trying to stay focused. I come from a place where there is a lot of pressure. UConn, it's a lot of expectations over there. So I've kind of gotten used to things like that. But overall, being at the camp for a couple of days, you're just thrown into a lot of stuff. Season is so quick. I was talking to Sammy the other day, and I was just like, I feel like I played against Iowa yesterday. It's really what it feels like, and just kind of shifting from old teammates to new teammates, from old coaches to new coaches, from a whole new system. You're just thrown into it. And some people might find it, very draining and stressful, which it is. But I try to shift my mindset and look at it as another challenge and something that I can learn from and something that I can, ultimately get better at. So that's been my mentality. And, I have great support from my coaches and teammates, and they answer all my questions. I'm being very annoying, trying to be as annoying as I can. But they're super patient, super understanding, and I mean, just have great people around me here. So thankful for that.
Also, welcome to Seattle, and I know you're still trying to make this team, and it's been fun to watch your interactions back and forth with Sue Bird as well. I know it's been talked about a lot, but for you, UConn all 4 years, that's really rare nowadays. But to be able to be coached by this Gino Auriemma and to basically have that in the NIL era where everyone is transferring and leaving, what are the biggest benefits in your opinion?
Of me being coached by him and being at UConn for years.
Yeah.
Thank you, first of all. I would say I'm a very loyal person, and I'm not saying people that are transferring are not loyal people or loyal players. Everybody's got different experiences, everybody's got different situations that they're thrown into. Me personally, I was extremely blessed, and just to be able to have amazing atmosphere around me at all times, even through the bad times and the good times. And have I thought about transferring? Hell yeah. You have a bad practice, you have a bad game, coach yells at you, you're fighting with coach, and you're just like, I'm gonna transfer, but I would never do it, And I feel like me staying even through the bad times and the good times, in one place and trying to, accomplish that one thing that everybody has in mind, that same goal. I was lucky enough to have teammates that have the same goals and, teammates that celebrate each other and teammates that are happy for each other at all times, no matter how much you play or not play. So I feel like all those things kind of just fed me even more and motivated me even more to get better every day, even through the bad times. But I mean, I was surrounded by, the best coach ever. Such historic coaches and legends of the game, and like
the coaches that used to play at UConn and just like feel the energy, know what it's like, know the bad sides, know the good sides of playing there. And I was in great hands. So I was blessed in that part, but also, I'm just me, myself, and I, and how I am, and how I know I would never transfer. Once I'm with somebody and once I'm loyal to them, I'm sticking. But to each their own, of course. Every situation is different, and I can't speak for people that are in different situations. I'm sure they decide what's best for them. So, but me personally, I decided to stay, of course.
And then just the biggest difference, one of the first things you noticed from college to WNBA on the court.
The difference? Ooh. Very physical, much more contacts allowed, which I like. I like that a lot. 6 fouls. Honestly, I had no idea that is the case. So I'm like, okay, I'm very excited about that. But I feel like Coach Noelle is so different than all the coaches that I've previously had. She's so calm. She's really she's such a poised coach, and I love that energy. She's my first female head coach that I've ever had in my life, and I just love it, and I love her energy, and she just brings a calmness to this team. We're all new, and it's a lot being thrown at us. A lot of new plays, new names. I feel like the dictionary has been the hardest part for me, because we run a lot of same things. You always see the same things, right? But the calls are different, the words are different. So just trying to shift my mindset. Also the language barriers sometimes, I want to, it's just like a lot for me in my brain. But just trying to take time and sit down with the coaches, ask questions, sit down by myself and like learn it, and be persistent in it and study it, and I'll be good. But that's been a big difference.
Hey there, in 2 days you play your first WNBA game. Just your thoughts sort of going into it. Do you think it'd be nervous, and the things that the goals that you have for yourself in that game would be what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very excited. I feel like we all are. You can feel the excitement. You can feel the energy on the court. Everybody's very impatient, like positively waiting for that game, and it's just it's the first one, and I know the amount of mistakes that we make or don't make is it's not gonna be like, oh, it's okay, it's the first game, but it is the first game, and everybody's still getting to know each other. We're trying to figure out the chemistry, which is going so well, and just at the end of the day, work hard and communicate. I feel like that's been our motto for the past couple of days. There's a lot of new guys, even the vets are new. So just making sure that we communicate to each other at all times and be patient with each other, and learn and just go hard and play hard, because if you go hard and play hard, I feel like you can fix a lot of mistakes. And I feel like that's our mindset going into that game too. But overall, I feel like we're just all super excited. We can't wait to get going, and I'm excited. I don't know what that's going to be like. I'm excited to see.
If you do make the roster, your role would be what, do you think? What do you think your role would be?
I feel like first and foremost, my energy, being loud, being vocal, that's one of the things that I enjoy doing, and I feel like I'm really good at, just maintaining that part of the game, being vocal, being energetic, celebrating my teammates, celebrating my coaches, just being that positive thing, that spark in that sense. But then of course the things that I do well and I'm good at, defense, I feel like defensively I can help this team a lot. Obviously I have some legends on the court, record breakers, that like great scores on the team. I want to get them the ball, and I want to create plays for them, and I want to put them in the best possible situations for them to be successful. And I've always enjoyed doing that, and I feel like I was doing that really well at UConn. So it's kind of like the same thing for me. I had a lot of scores, a lot of good players in the perimeter and the post at UConn. It's the same way here. So just kind of shifting that same role. Thank you.
All right, let's take a couple questions quick from Zoom. While we have time, we'll start with Maggie, and then we'll go to Emily Adams. Maggie, go ahead.
Hey, Nika, good to see you again. Going back to Gino, I'm sure you saw your goodbye video with him, went absolutely viral, very emotional. Kind of going back to his impact on you outside of basketball, away from the court, how did he impact you as a person?
Yeah, going straight to it. Yeah, first of all, I just want to clear it up. I did not know that was gonna be a video. So I was very surprised to see it on my timeline, because it was a very personal and raw moment. But once I saw the positive outreach and um how many people it impacted in a certain way, especially coaches, I feel like I've heard a lot of coaches express their feelings of how they wish or they remember or they just kind of shared the same energy of having that relationship with their players. So that was pretty cool to see that positive feedback and outreach. But he has impacted me so much. Honestly, I mean, I've been away from my family for 4 years, and people at UConn, my teammates, coaches, everybody in the program did a great job of filling in that hole for me. But he was the main one that did it, and I mean, been through everything, I've had some bad moments, me personally, off the court, throughout my 4 years there, and he was the first one to notice it, and he was the first one to react to it, and people see on the court stuff and how much I've progressed through 4 years, which is huge, and I'm forever thankful to him and everybody that helped me get to the point. But off the court, he's done so much more for me and kind of been that, we call him Grampy. He's been that Grampy for me. He has. And he's been my best friend through so many situations. Yeah, we fight, of course. Like we've had our moments, but he's filled in that hole of my family, being away for 4 years.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mickey. And let's wrap up with Emily Adams. Emily, go ahead.
Hey, Nika. Getting to go to dog class right before you left for training camp, just what was that experience like for you? And I mean, what's the biggest things you found yourself applying, since you've started on the team?
Yes. No, oh my God. That was one of the best experiences of my life, hands down. It was so much fun. And when I was at the draft and going through the whole process, I got the invite from Kelsey and Under Armour. And I was just like, man, like it's just back to back everything. I've been at the Final Four, and now I'm going through the draft process. Now this, and I gotta get ready for the camp. Like, should I go? Should I not? But I was like, you know what? It was built around Kelsey's life, like the camp itself, like how she does things as a pro. And I was like, there is no better way for me to go to training camp and get prepared for training camp than to go over there and learn from the best, right? And being surrounded with so many younger players that are already impacting the game and are gonna be impacting the game in the future. It's just been so competitive, but it's also been fun and just relaxing, and I could get my mind off of a lot of things that were, stressing me out at the time. But to be able to learn from Kelsey, and I was also annoying with her too. I was trying to ask as many questions as I can, and she is such a great role model, and not a lot of players do things like this, and she definitely takes her time to, make an impact and give back. And I felt it, and I think she prepared me so well for this, and I have no regrets going, even though my schedule was so crazy. But learning from her and playing amongst some great players, it's been a great experience. And we had puppies. Come on, that was just puppy yoga. That was the best. I loved it.
All right. Thanks, Nico. Appreciate your time. And we will have Sammy and Ezzy coming in here in just a moment. All right, thanks everybody for joining us. We've got Sammy and Ezzy here. We're going to go ahead and start with questions in the room. Then we will go to questions on Zoom as we have time. Open it up here for questions in the room.
Hey, Sammy. Hey, to like that thing that you just said when you like came in, just what has this training facility been like for you? You know, somebody who's like played in the league for like some time. Just what do you think about all of this?
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, I was talking to someone about it, how, I mean, you're always like happy to come to work when your job is playing basketball, but it's like you're so excited to come here and to get to do it here. Maybe in particular for us because, you know, we did it at SPU for so long, and that's obviously just a bit smaller and a little bit more limiting. But yeah, it's really special. We're, you know, we feel spoiled, but it's also, you know, what we hope the standard will be for everybody. We feel like everybody in the league deserves to be training at a place like this. It makes our life, I think, a lot easier because everything is here for us. We don't have to drive around to go here for that and there for this and whatever. So it's incredibly special. It's a privilege, and I'm really grateful every day.
Then Ezzy, hi. Obviously you haven't been able to get on the court yet, but have you imagined what your role will be with this team this year and also with those other starters there?
Yeah, obviously I'm really excited to just be back on the court with everyone. Like watching practice looks like so much fun, so I'm just kind of like itching to get out there. Um, but no, I think obviously we have great additions to the team, in Necker and Skylar. I think this year the goal is, you know, to definitely compete for a championship. So I think I'm just, you know, gonna do whatever I can for my team, in order to do that. But yeah, obviously it'll be easier to kind of figure that out once I get on the court and, you know, get a feel, of how it is to play with everyone. But I'm just looking forward to, yeah, just being on the court with everyone.
Ezzy, NECA had a lot of praise for you when she was in here. I'm just curious what you've been able to learn from her over the last few days. Well, since you've been here,
Yeah.
and just how valuable having a veteran like that is
Yeah.
for you as you grow.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously knew the type of player and person NECA was kind of from the outside, but just coming in the last few days, her leadership is just so like evident on the court. She's just you know, talking to the bigs, but not only us, like to the guards as well. Like she sees a lot. She's just like a really smart player, and I think she just you know, brings up the level of practice as does Skylar as well. So just being able to see that and just see how she sees the game and just leads the team as well is really exciting.
Ezzy, how would you describe where you were as a player before the start of last season versus where you were at the end of last season versus where you are now coming into this year?
Yeah, I mean, obviously before the start of last season, I knew my role was going to change just with um, you know, the team that we had last year, and obviously, you know, losing Stewie and a few other players as well. So I think last year was definitely a growing year for me, and just obviously offensively being more um, of a threat, I think, and obviously having another season overseas and just being able to build my confidence and build my game that way has definitely helped, I think. But I'm just really excited to come into, you know, a new team again, but have a couple of vets on the team as well. So yeah.
Sammy, welcome back. You've been on championship teams. You've also been on not so great teams in the past. What is the feeling around here in terms of, you know, your thoughts about, you know, where this team is and potentially competing for a championship this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think the exciting part obviously is, you know, we have all of the pieces. I think people know that, but I think we're not jumping ahead too far either. I think we know how hard it is to win in this league, even if you have a lot of talent. So I think we're really trying to stay present and to make sure we get the most out of every single training, every single possession. And that is what, you know, to what Ezzy said about NECA and Sky, what they bring that competitive edge to every play and to every possession. And I think they really get that this is where it starts. And if we want to win a championship, it'll be done kind of in these moments, in these early weeks, and then in the early stages of the season. It's not, you don't win a championship just in the championship game, right? Or that series. It's all the stuff you do, all the legwork, all the foundational things. So it's nice having them here and understanding that and really implementing that. But obviously, yes, that is what we're going to be trying to go for. And I think you can feel that with how hard people are going and how much it means and how, you know, when we don't score every play, like there's frustration because it's like, well, we're that good kind of thing, or we can be that good with what we have on the floor.
I can't remember who said it actually, but I think, it was NECA. She just said, I've never played with this much space. And for a shooter, I'm guessing that's like heaven. From someone who also knows the game really well, how do you see the addition of Skylar and NECA changing the kind of spacing that you guys had as a team last year?
She was talking about that with me actually, and we were laughing because it is like it's if you're not as familiar with that, or if you haven't played with as much space, it can be uncomfortable at times almost because you're like, oh, I should be in that. Should I be in that space? Should I be over here? How do I sort of navigate within that space? You don't want to step into people's. But I think, with someone like Skylar, who's so dynamic and who can get downhill, who can score at 3 levels, it's going to be fun to play with someone like that as a shooter, because I will just try and find my windows and pockets, and, she's going to make the right read. I think it's exciting to have someone like NECA who can set really great screens and then really make fantastic reads too. She's really good in that sort of 15-foot range too, where she can face up and do whatever. She's really great getting to the basket and slashing. So I think that's probably part of, all of our learning curve together, is figuring out how we play, with each other in that space, but then allowing each other to have that space. I mean, you saw Jewel last year. She eats people alive when she gets a little bit of space. So it's trying to play off of each other. And I think that's going to be really fun to see how it evolves.
Izzy, how are you feeling physically? Noah's been talking about kind of being patient and working you in next week, coming off the end of your season and then the flight here.
Yeah, physically I'm feeling good. I think it was more just being able to rest my body and obviously adjust to the time difference and everything. So kind of just easing into it. Was on court with Sadie's before practice, just like a light workout. So I think just gradually, adjusting to camp. But I'm, like I said, looking forward to just getting back on court and just being with the team. But physically, I feel fine. Thanks for asking.
Let's take some questions from the Zoom. Christian Braswell, start us out, and then we'll go to Sean Schultz.
Hi, Sammy and Ezzy. This question's for the both of you. Skylar was just recently in here, and she said she's tired of the talking, she's tired of the typing, she's ready to play. Do you guys share that same sentiment?
She's tired of what? What was the first part?
I'm sorry, she's tired of the typing, she's tired of the talking as far as the game and like the team gelling. She's ready to play. Do you guys feel that same way?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
let's play.
Yeah,
I mean, I think we're all really excited to get on the court and play. I think, we're all probably keen for a few more like trainings together as camp goes on too, because we're trying to figure it all out. But I feel like I know what's behind that in terms of like, she's just a competitive person. I think she's just ready to like be with this group and win with this group and figure it out. So I love that energy.
Thank you.
Let's go Sean Schultz, and then we'll go to Brad Lake after that. Go ahead, Sean. Sean, you there? Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yeah, good to go.
Team chemistry, ladies, is just so important, obviously. And with all the veterans you guys got there, how important do you think that's been in just the week you've seen it and getting everyone together and getting the season started?
Yeah, I think it's pretty important. Obviously, you want to build that team chemistry, especially towards the start of training camp. And obviously, I was a couple of days late, but I could already see, the team chemistry being built in the team and just how everyone, was talking to each other and celebrating each other and just wanting the best for each other. It's kind of nice to see because you don't know what you're going to get, when you bring, I guess, kind of new people into the team. But I think we obviously knew what type of people Skylar and NECA are, and obviously the new additions as well. So, yeah, I'm just excited. I know like we still have a couple more weeks left, not even a couple of weeks, but some time before the season starts. So obviously still building that chemistry in those coming days as well.
Thanks, Sean. Let's go to Brad, and then we'll go to Blake.
Yes, hi, ladies. How are you? Brad Lake from WBB Nation and WNBA Swish. Both of you being huge international players and all the momentum of international play from players being drafted to players in training camp. What impact do you see them having this year, and how important are international players to the W?
I think you see it more and more every year. The quality of the international players and how, their experiences playing internationally, whether they're coming in for their first year after only playing a few years internationally, or maybe they've been overseas for a long time coming over. I think it's invaluable, that experience. We know how tough it is to play internationally. It's really hard. So if that's where you've sort of laid your groundwork, I think you see a lot of value in those players coming in now, and I expect the same this year. I think the quality of those players is really, really high. They can contribute, so I'm excited for that.
Now let's go to Blake, and then we'll wrap up with Brendan.
This is for both you ladies. How would y'all describe the team environment and the practices?
Competitive, high
Yeah.
energy. I think, as you said it before, like there is so much like excitement for people doing well, and I think that's really fun to be around. But like it's really, really high energy. That's what it feels like. I don't know what it looks like, but
No, it definitely looks like that. Sorry, it was Jordan outside. It definitely looks like that. I think, obviously, what you guys said, Skylar said before, she's such a competitor, and I think you can just see that. And I don't think we kind of had that last season, and so just to see her kind of just be herself, but also just lift up the group in that way too. Like you want to be competitive in practice because I think it's great preparation for games as well. So yeah, like Sammy said, just high energy and competitiveness, which is really exciting.
All right, we got time for one last question. We'll go to Brendan.
Hi, ladies. Good to see you again. So the big talk is about the big three. But Coach has said, don't forget about Ezzy Magmagor. So, in your eyes, like what makes Ezzy so unforgettable, both from Sammy and Ezzy, your perspective?
what makes you unforgettable, I think? Look, I mean, I think, she's an incredible player as well, both offensively and defensively. We all saw the jumps she made last year. She's an all-star. So I think it's exciting to see how they're all going to work together in that group, because I think absolutely it's not like, yeah, they're a big three, but like it's a big four for sure. And it's a big five. Whoever's going to be that fifth player, I think is going to be really pivotal to our success as well. So I'm really excited to see how they all play off each other. But I think any team that thinks they don't have to, I mean, I would love for them to ignore Izzy. Go ahead. If that's the scout, that's silly. But I think every team knows that they can't do that.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate your time. Sammy Wickham.
She's like, yeah.
Just so you know, Sammy Wickham, the Ventura County Hall of Fame most recent inductee. Congratulations on that, Sammy Wickham. We will have Jordan Horston and Mercedes Russell joining us here in a second. And just as a reminder, I forgot to say, if you're asking a question for when we have more than one player here, be sure to direct your question to one of the two or both. And we'll open things up for questions here for Jordan Horston and Mercedes Russell here with questions in the room. Then we'll get to Zoom as we have time.
Hey, Jordan. Now that you went through your first year, what was the toughest part of the adjustment you had to make going from the college game to the pro game?
That's a good one. For me, the toughest thing I feel like was just giving myself grace. I'm really hard on myself, and knowing that, coming from college, being able to do whatever I wanted basically, and then coming into the pros, and it was like a whole different ball game. It's like grown woman, physicality was pretty tough for me, but I was really hard on myself, and I feel like, at times it would like affect me, like affect my game. And I feel like once I like realized that, it's a process, a journey, that kind of helped me. But so like to answer your question, I'll say my biggest, the hardest thing that I had to go through was just giving myself grace.
How long did that
Oh, the whole
Jordan.
season. The whole
season,
season.
yeah.
So the off season, I was still like, wow, I should have been a little bit more nicer to myself, my self-talk. But you know, I'm learning. I'm learning. It's getting a lot better. So that was that for me.
Jordan, Jewel talked about earlier in the offseason spending a month with her in Chicago. I'm just asking to open that up. What was the offseason like for you? I know you had to spend a lot of time here rehabbing your shoulder, seeing the vlogs a little bit. What was the offseason like for you as you worked back from that injury and just tried to accept yourself more?
Yeah, I mean, it was great. It was great. I mean, wait, it wasn't all great because I mean, it was still hard being here by myself. Everybody was gone. Um, but I learned a lot about myself. And like I said, I say this all the time. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I was meant to be in that situation and I was able to get better, work on all aspects of my game, get stronger, and work out with Jewel. I got to work out with her for quite some time and I learned a lot from her. And I feel like I'm gonna, cherish those moments and those times and it's gonna help me for my career. So I feel like the biggest thing that I focused on in the off season was, you know, of course, get my shoulder back, but the little things, like every piece of my game I feel like I improved on.
Hey, Sadie's,
Mercedes could go.
No, you cannot go.
Now y'all can answer the rest of the questions.
No, for real though. You just give me one.
You definitely can't go. This past week, you've been on the court a lot with Jewel, Nneka, and Skylar. Just what has that been, just kind of being out there with them, that dynamic, and have you seen any chemistry at all this week?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it's been seamless. Just welcoming Skylar and Nneka to our team this year has been huge. Obviously, veterans at the point guard and the post position. So it's been nice just kind of getting a feel for each other. Obviously, we've only been in camp for a few days. So we're trying to build that chemistry every single day. But yeah, it's been cool just seeing the flow between Jewel, Skylar, and Nneka already. I mean, it's nice. I know you guys have been around practice, but it's fun to see and just the continuation of the growth that's going to be there for our whole team is going to be really cool to see. And just, I mean, it's only been 4 days, but the energy and the effort has been there, and it's been really cool to see.
And then, from like your perspective, Jordan, just being on like the sideline and just do you have an idea as to what your role might be when you
When
get
I
on the
come
court
back,
with those guys?
well, she usually tells us our roles or whatever. Noe tells us our roles. But I know for me, I know gotta be that, that spark, make all the effort plays, lock up their best player, and just do the little things. But I feel like, being on the sideline and watching and seeing how, everybody moves, I can see where I could fit in with the group. So it's been helpful. I want to be out there, but I'm still growing off on the sideline.
It's for both of you, probably Mercedes first, just because you've been around this team longer, this facility, and it's not just a marketing question, but you see all like the player lounge, the spa that is the hot and cold tubs, the extra time you guys spend here. Do you think it's already paying dividends in terms of like extra inside jokes you have and just extra time you have together?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, man, it's been a long time coming. Just as you can see, this facility is top notch. It's amazing. It's something that we've been waiting for because we knew this year would be opening it up. So we were just very excited to have our own space. A lot of WNBA players say, "Oh, we've never had a locker room," and like literally, like it's true. We're temporarily like in places. So just to have a home physically for the Storm and see their investment in us as players has been truly top notch, and we're so thankful. And yeah, we do kind of stay here all day, as you can see now. But I mean, we have the space and we have the area, and not only do we have so many resources, but I think it's important, like our recovery and the options that we have for recovery as a team now is just through the roof. So I think as a team, obviously, we're very, very thankful for the investors and everybody that went into this and just building and having it ready by the time for us to come to camp this year has been amazing. So yeah, we're very thankful as a team and we're going to use it to the best of our abilities for sure.
Yeah, basically what she said. I came in last year, so I only got like a little bit of it, but just to see like the transition from that space to this space is just amazing. I mean, we got everything that we need and more for us to be successful. Bless you. You're good.
Jordan, you talked about the offseason, but when were you cleared to start doing basketball? When did you kind of
I mean, I was doing basketball stuff literally like maybe a couple days after my surgery. So I was just like doing like left hand stuff. But um as far as 5-on-5, I got cleared. I can't remember. It was like I want to say March, like middle of March, I was cleared to play fives, but I like build up to that. So I started off with 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, then 5-on-5. So, but to answer your question, I mean, I've been working out in the gym every day since I got my surgery.
And Sadie's, what are you taking from your off season into this upcoming season?
Yeah, it was cool. I was obviously playing over in Australia for the off season, so I was there for 6 months. Felt like a lot longer, but ended up being 6 months. I was able to be teammates with LJ, which was really incredible for me, just learning and growing as a player and also just experiencing her as well. Like she came back out of retirement, obviously, and then this season she was also coming back from an injury. So just being on the court with her and sharing that time and just getting to know her deeper because I obviously knew of her and her connection with basketball in Seattle and just being the GOAT, but just actually having that time to experience her and get to know her better was amazing. And then at the end of the day, we won the WNBL championship. So it was like cherry on top and it was really cool.
You said these was hooping. I know y'all seen it. I know y'all seen it.
Yeah, look at those WNBL stats. They were impressive.
Right.
Let's take some questions from the Zoom. We'll start with Christian and then we'll go to Willie. Christian, start us out.
I'm Mercedes and Jordan. My first question is for Mercedes. After the first half of the last season, it was kind of a slow start, but that second half after the All-Star break, you really turned it on. Multiple double-digit games, blocks, assists, really everywhere, especially in the 15-foot range. Talking about like 47, almost 50% of those shots. Going to this offseason, WNBL, where you have, I watched a lot of those games. You were really hooping, as Jordan was saying. Congratulations as well. But how does that transition to start the W and the advancement that you made overseas?
Oh yeah, well, basically for me, it was just I was still trying to just find my rhythm after coming off of surgery. So there was a lot of grace for myself. I wasn't really in a rush to be perfect or anything like that. I mean, nobody's perfect at the end of the day, but I wasn't in a rush to come back into full form. Obviously, I was letting my body do what it needed to do and just take my time getting that rhythm back. And I think I really did that out in Australia. So just coming back this year to our team, I was really excited just with whatever they need me to do. I'll be, energetic on both ends of the floor. And we've obviously added amazing players. We also added Nika Mule as a draft pick for us this year. So, I mean, the energy, like I saying, I know I keep repeating it, but literally it's been incredible for the first 4 days of camp. And we're just going to continue to keep building on that. And I'm going to be, that energy piece along with Jordan. And we're just going to come in and do whatever the team needs us to do.
And I won for Jordan. The way that rookies have come into the league and have adjusted, it really depends on their foundation. Your first year in Seattle, from leadership down to the coaching staff, pretty much set, right? You come into this off season, you have the new facility, you bring in star players. That foundation for you to grow and blossom to the player that you want to be, it's there. It's there for you for the taking. But as far as other rookies that may not have that type of foundation, what would you say as far as how other teams need to be able to kind of catch up to be able to give that to younger players and also vets as well that deserve it?
Wait, so your question is like if rookies don't have like a dual
Like
or
the resources.
Yeah, like resources, vets, and things like that. Like, how would they be able to adjust to the league? As far as it's tough.
That's a good question because I really didn't experience that, so I don't even know how to answer that. I would say, I mean, with us being all in the league, like I feel like it's a big, it's one community. So it's not like, after the game, everybody's still like, pulling for each other at the end of the day. So I feel like, um, I don't know, pull somebody to the side, maybe ask somebody, but I really don't know how to answer that question because I came into a great situation where, I had great vets who believed in me and, I was around great people. Um, and it just worked out. But it doesn't always happen that way. And if it doesn't happen that way, I have no clue what I would suggest. I would just say, stay in the gym, find your routine, find what works for you, and do it every day consistently.
Let's go
Thank
to
you both.
Willie. Yep, thank you. We'll go to Willie, and then if we got time, we'll get to Blake.
Thank you. Hey, Mercedes, how are you? Always good to see you since our days at Athletes Unlimited here in Vegas.
Doing well,
Um,
thank you.
Throughout Media Day, we've been talking to Noe, NECA, Sky, Jewel about them joining Jewel's team, but this is your 7th year with the Storm. You're just as much of a vet in this
You gotta tell
organization.
everybody that.
And you won two championships. You've been there for the dynasty era, if you will. Does it feel like this is a new contending era with this energy and chemistry you've been talking about? Does it feel like it could tip off and be something special? You've experienced that before. This is just as much your team.
Yeah, man, it's really early. I think we just started practicing on Sunday, but for sure, yeah, I mean, obviously we're expecting a lot more from ourselves this year, just with the additions to our team, obviously, and then also just everyone else. Like we were around each other last year, so our chemistry is there and just building off each other, knowing each other and growing with each other because at the end of the day, we got to win together. One person's not going to win the game for us. Yeah, Jewel might score 45 for us, but we need somebody to defend. So at the end of the day, we know it's going to take 1 through 12, 1 through 11. I'm not sure what the roster is going to end up to be like. You know how money is in the WNBA, but whatever that is, we're going to need every single person to win games. And that's what we're looking forward to this season, just winning, growing, and being consistent at the end of the day.
Great. Thanks, Sadie. See you when you get to Vegas.
Thank you.
Thanks, Willie. And let's go to Blake.
Blake Spadauer from Blake's Take. Mercedes, what do you think of the team's outlook this year? What do you think of the team this year compared to last year's? And another question for Jordan. What do you think you needed? You had a great rookie season last year. What do you think? What did you improve on from year 1 to year 2?
First. Yeah, I think I'm kind of just repeating myself, but honestly, we had a big off season with free agency, so it was huge for us just to get people on our roster with leadership, vets on our team, champions on our team, all-stars on our team, and that's what we did. I think it was huge. I mean, obviously it was apparent we were really lacking in the point guard position, and we add Skylar Diggins-Smith to our roster. And we also add another all-star, Nneka Ogwumike. So I don't know. I think we're personally expecting a lot of ourselves this year, but the only thing we can really do is take it one day at a time and just improve and compete. And that's what we're doing. So we're not looking too far ahead. Obviously, we play Saturday in the preseason game, and that'll just be a feel for the first time being on the court against somebody that other than ourselves. So honestly, it's one day at a time for us.
I'm sorry, I forgot your question already. I was listening to Mercedes. Can you repeat it?
Oh, I'm sorry. What do you had a very good rookie season last year? What did you improve on in the off season?
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I didn't really feel like I had a good season, but I appreciate that. What I worked on in off season was just like my entire game, literally. Like I broke down everything. I watched a lot of film. Of course, I had to get stronger with my surgery, and then I like changed my whole shot. So you'll be seeing a different Jordan this year. A lot better than last year, for sure.
All right. Thanks, Jordan. Thanks, Mercedes, for joining us. That's all the time we got. We've got a change in our schedule a little bit here. We're going to have Kiana Williams and Dulcie Fanka-Mengiadu join us. Joyner Holmes has a doctor's appointment and will not be able to join us today. So next we'll have Kiana Williams and Dulcie Fanka-Mengiadu, then followed by Kayla Davis and Jade Melbourne. All right, we are all set to go with Kiana Williams and Dulcie. Let's go ahead and open it up to questions in the room. Then we'll take some questions from the Zoom.
Hi, Kiana. Just curious what it's been like for you to be back with the organization. Obviously, you've spent time here before, well, with the organization before, not here before, but what it's been like for you being back here in the first few days of camp.
Yeah, it's a new team. Obviously, my first time here was with Sue and Stewie, completely different team. But you know, the offensive system's pretty much the same. Some new terminology and whatnot. But I feel really comfortable out there because I was already exposed to the stuff already, you know, previously. And yeah, just excited and thankful for the opportunity.
And then Dulcie, what were you able to take from your rookie season and then to apply it to your offseason, how you improved in the offseason? What did you like from your rookie year and how were you able to improve over the offseason?
I mean, from the rookie year, I really I think I was in the learning stage. Now I feel really comfortable, like moving around, like knowing what they expect from me and knowing what I can do for the team and what I cannot do. It's been really like a learning experience for me. And now I feel like I've grown up a little better. So, still gonna see.
Kiana, you mentioned the systems, offensive systems were pretty similar.
Mhm.
Do you see a lot of different coaches across the WNBA stick to their system, or do you see it's interesting that, you know, with different players in a different generation here in Storm, it's still a similar scheme.
Yeah, I feel like for the most part, coaches stick to, you know, what they're used to. And for the most part, players stay the same, and their system is their system. And Noe has her X's and O's are, you know, the best in the league, I feel like. So yeah, she's pretty much stayed consistent with that. And it's just, you know, the offense is not really, you know, stagnant or anything. It's more read and react, and there's a lot of freedom to play. And I feel like it's across that throughout the league. It's like that throughout the league.
And Dulcie, with the season you had last year, a lot of your teammates said like no one's going to outwork you, basically. Like as long as you're on the floor, like no one will outwork you.
Yeah.
Where does that motor come from, and how do you kind of balance that with also trying to improve all the skill stuff that everybody else is improving on?
I don't know. I think that's something I've always been proud of. Like I've always been wanting to be the one that's like outworking everybody. That's want to do more than everybody. So it's kind of like a second nature to me. I don't really know if like there's something driving me, but that's what it is. Yeah.
Also, maybe you sort of already answered this, but like, how different does this feel than a year ago when you were coming in and everything was new?
This year, I feel more like I know what I'm doing compared to last year. Last year was very new, like I was learning. The tempo was different, the pace was different, like everything was so new. And I think spending 1 year overseas, coming back here from the things I already had last year, is just like I'm more settled. I'm more like focused, I'm more balanced. So it's a plus for me.
Got a couple questions we'll take from Zoom. We'll start with Brad Lake, and then we'll go to Blake. Brad, why don't you start us out?
Yes. Hi, ladies. How are you? Brad Lake, WBB Nation, WNBA Swish. This question is for Kiana. Now that you're back with the Storm and all the valuable experience that you've had playing, what excites you about being back here in this moment, in this stage of your career?
Can you repeat it? It was kind of choppy. What?
Sure. I'm sorry, ladies.
It's okay.
Now that you're in
Okay.
all this valuable experience that you've had in the W, what excites you the most about being back here in this moment in your career?
Yeah, I think, you know, the opportunity to play with NECA and Sky, and play with Joel again, you know, those are three, you know, future Hall of Famers. And, you know, seeing Ezzy and Mercedes, they're more experienced and stuff. You know, playing with Jordan, just, you know, playing with everyone. It's really a fun group. Training camp has been really competitive, and I think we're just out there trying to learn each other, play off each other, and make reads and whatnot, and get comfortable with what people are going to do and where to expect certain people. So yeah, it's always exciting, you know, when you have opportunity to compete with the best players in the world.
Thanks, Brad. And let's go to Blake.
what does it mean to y'all as players that the ownership has put a lot into the practice facility?
You can start.
It means a lot. I mean, I haven't felt this comfortable in a long time. Like just having to have something of our own. Like it's been huge. You just seeing so much investment they putting into us, and it's just making us like want to give it back to them, you know. So it's been very great.
Yeah, just every time we come into the gym in the facility, it's like, wow, all of this is ours. And, that to see the investment that they have, it makes you want to, go out and compete even harder. And hopefully this sets the standard across the league, seeing that how, we have this beautiful facility. I feel like it's the best facility in the world, brand new. And yeah, very, very
Everything
fortunate
you
and
need.
blessed.
Thanks.
I got one final question. Kind of take us down memory lane a little bit and talk about your coach at Stanford and your thoughts on your time that you spent there on the farm.
Yeah, playing for Tara was a huge blessing. Very thankful. And I actually texted her right when they announced it, telling her congratulations. And, she's not gonna have a lot of free time out on her water skis and whatnot. And she told me to make sure I pass Taneka in camp and stuff. So hopefully she, catches a few games and whatnot. But yeah, my time at Stanford was a blessing. Just, getting accepted and playing for a Hall of Fame coach. Very thankful getting my degree from there. And playing, with Haley, Cam, winning a natty my last year. To see Haley, Cam, Lexi in the league now and stuff. So they're doing great. But yeah, very thankful for my time at Stanford and really happy for Tara as she, received her flowers and now she gets to enjoy retirement. But I know she's still gonna be coaching and helping Kaden and whatnot. So that'll be cool.
Thank you very much, ladies. Appreciate your time.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have Kayla Davis and Jade Melbourne joining us in about 5 minutes. All right, we are set to go with Jade Melbourne and Kayla Davis. We'll go ahead and get started with some questions here in the room. Start with Tim.
Jade, looking back on last year, how would you describe, encapsulate what year one in the W was like for you?
Oh, it does work. Year one in the W was good. It was full of a bunch of learning experiences, challenges, adapting to a whole new league, and essentially for me, moving to the other side of the world as well. So, yeah, there was a lot of obstacles, I guess. But overall, I think I was surrounded by some great people. We obviously didn't get the results on the win-loss column, but I think personally, I grew a lot, and I'm looking forward to hopefully translating that into year two.
What's the biggest thing you learned, either about yourself moving across the world or the way your game evolved during the opportunities you had on the court?
Yeah, definitely the way my game evolved. You're playing against the best of the best every day. You can't take a possession off. You can't afford to, not read your scout, just like little details like that. And then, yeah, you have to change the way you play. You have to, go slow and fast. So just a bunch of different things, as well as adjusting to the pace of the game and the physicality, I think were the huge things I took out of the year.
Just for you both, obviously there's a lot, I'm sure, going through both of your minds. This facility is great, but also it's a very intense training camp. How has it been kind of managing all of that while also trying to play your best basketball here as, we get to preseason game-wise in 2 days?
I think, yeah. I mean, you come in and the start of training camp's always exciting. It's a new team. You walk into a facility as beautiful as this. There's a lot of things happening. It's an exciting time for Storm basketball. But at the end of the day, once we cross that line, you've just got to focus and lock into the basketball side of things. At the end of the day, that's what we're all here to essentially do. Getting to know teammates, making sure everyone's comfortable with the stuff and getting each other up to speed so we can win that first practice game on Saturday.
Yeah, same thing. I think being in a facility like this, it definitely makes our jobs a lot easier. There's less things to think about and process and, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's great to be able to be in a new facility like this. But, yeah, I mean, I piggyback off everything Jade said. It's exciting. It's new, but, again, once you're in those four lines, it's about competing. And, I think honestly, these practices are going to be some of the toughest games, that are going to be played just because of, the roster that's in here. So it's cool. It's nice because I think, when Saturday comes, then this roster will be ready.
As somebody who's like been in the league, just what do you maybe tell the players just maybe about this place then, just being the practice facility here and just having been around the league some, how does it compare and contrast with other places that you've been?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think having everything here in one place, it makes your job easier. It really does. Not having to worry about treatments and food and all the little things that you really don't feel like thinking about just throughout those tiring training camp days. But yeah, like I said, I think it's just a matter of easily accessing, things that maybe aren't as easy to access, outside of different, situations. So, I mean, I think they understand it. They're grateful for it. I think we all are, to have little things just like your own locker and your own space and stuff like that, a good weight room to move around in and get everything done. So, it's a great place to, to stay on top of everything you need to.
How early do you get here? How long do you find yourself sort of staying here? Do you linger, or is it like, do you?
It makes it easy to linger.
Yeah.
It definitely does. You know what I mean? There's couches to sit on, and you got a comfy chair in the locker room. So yeah, it definitely makes it easy to linger. But I think Sunday I was here from like
It's a 9 to 5 job. But
no, yeah, Sunday I was here from like 8:45 to like 4:45, 5. So yeah, I mean that's training camp though. Days are long, but you love it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But like I said, again, because it's long days, having a facility like this just makes it so much easier to to be here and get through those days.
And then just how is the second go around with this team different for you, and just what things do you think you need to do to sort of make the roster?
Yeah, I think there's more familiarity with everything, just the people. I know I wasn't here super long last time, but I think just having somewhat of a familiar idea of just kind of what's going on and how they operate and, just culturally too. But I think in general, it's just, I think just being me at the end of the day, being versatile, being able to, handle the ball, rebound, play defense, guard different positions, play different positions. It's just being able to bring a versatility to the roster.
Jade, Tim asked about, kind of last WNBA season, but how did your game grow during this WNBL season? And what did you see from Sadie's playing down in Australia?
Yeah, I mean, Sadie's had an unbelievable year. She took over the Australian League, especially in the final series. And I think that's been huge for her and translated here. I think she took a lot of confidence out of playing in Australia. She dominated over there and she's brought that into training camp. She's been assertive. She's been making decisions super quick and been finishing at the rim. So that's been great. And for me, myself personally, I think, yeah, coming over to America and learning from our skills trainers and a different style of play, I think I was able to translate that. We probably didn't see that on court in the WNBA last season, but then getting huge minutes and stuff overseas, I think I was able to see what I'd learned and capitalized on that over there. So just continuing to grow. I'm still young, still just trying to learn, come into every day with an open mind and a growth mindset, and hopefully my game just continues to grow.
Let's take some questions from the Zoom. We'll start with Christian Braswell, and then we'll go to Andy Lipton. Christian, start us out.
Well, ladies, my first question is for Kayla Davis. KD, how's it going? It's been a long process. The last time I remember seeing on the W court, you was lighting up in the playoffs for the Phoenix Mercury. Then the Achilles injury, rehabbing through the process, not be able to do what you love as often as you wanted to, and now being back where you were, which really started in 2022. How's the process been in, recovery, fitting with the team, and everything else as far as camp?
Ooh, yeah, that's loaded.
I'm sorry.
yeah. Last year was rough to say the least. But I a lot of people ask me. I think we've kind of heard it before, but I mean, I think tearing my Achilles was the best thing that's ever happened to me. Honestly, it was a year to really grow. To really learn a lot about myself. And just kind of really fall back in love. Not that I ever fell out of love with basketball, but to really just love what you do and focus in on all those things. So it's been awesome. Obviously it had its moments where it was absolutely terrible, but it had those moments where now being in the position that I'm in, you can look back and say, yeah, it was totally worth it, and I got a lot out of it. So it's awesome. It's awesome to be back in a place like Seattle, to to be able to be in this facility. Truly grateful for it all, for the whole process.
Thank you. And for Jade, there's a couple guards in this roster as far as training camp, and cuts are coming soon. It's kind of hard this time of year, every year, we know. But how do you think your game translates, and how do you separate yourself from other guards that are on this roster?
Yeah, I think for me, my pace and my basketball IQ would probably separate me. To be honest, I don't really think about that at the end of the day. Like, we're all teammates right now, so we're just continuing to enjoy each other's strengths, figure out how to play with each other, and whatever happens. But I think for me personally, just my speed, my ability to guard the ball up the floor, and then create plays with my basketball IQ. I think that's my kind of point of difference, and that's what I'm trying to showcase at camp. So hopefully, if that's what the team needs, that's what they need. But yeah, that's kind of my point of difference.
Thank you.
Let's go to Andy, and then we'll go to Brad Lake after that. Andy, go ahead.
Thanks so much. Hi, it's for Kayla. It's Andy Lipton. Great to see you again.
You too, Andy.
And best of luck. Question I have is, can you share maybe some of the feedback and conversations you've had with the coaches so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think main conversations I'm having again is just the versatility aspect. It can be, it's just a lot of different things as far as, how to be effective and where, and just different things that they're looking for. It's getting 2 feet in the paint, attacking, rebounding. They're really heavy on me with defensively. So, winning the day defensively is a big thing. So, it's a bunch of different conversations, but I love it because it's all information that I get to kind of take in and get to apply it, each and every day. So, it's a lot, but like I said, I love it and I'm thankful for it. And, let's just trying to, again, go out and be versatile and do all of the things.
All right, great. Thanks.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks for that. Let's go to Brad Lake, then we'll go to Brendan.
Yes, hi ladies. How are you? Brad Lake, WBB Nation, WNBA Swish. This question is for Jade. You were a very vocal player last year. All your energy on and off the bench, motivating your teammates. We even saw you do some dance moves by the bench. With the roster that you have, how excited are you to keep your spirit and that spunk that you have?
When you get to watch Jewel Lloyd play every day, it's pretty easy to say, pretty up and about. We've added some firepower this year. So I think for me, I just genuinely love the game of basketball. I love seeing people make great plays. I love seeing see something that we've practiced translate to a game. And just overall, it's just a love for the game. I love seeing people succeed and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm going to continue to, have a smile on my face, enjoy, being in the present moment, being surrounded by great people. Just celebrating the little wins, I think is super important, especially in a long season. If you're only aiming for the big picture every now and again, I think you forget some of the little accomplishments along the way. So just continuing to celebrate each person in this team, I think super important.
Thanks, Brad. And let's go to Brendan Potts.
Hey ladies, hey Jade. I wanted to ask, with a more veteran group in this locker room, especially at your position, what are you hoping to learn from vets like Skylar and hopefully teaching a player like Nika in her first year as well?
Yeah, 100%. Skylar from day one's been great for me. She puts her arm around me, and tells me exactly what I have to do. If she sees an area where she thinks I can exploit someone, she lets me know about it. So, having someone like Skylar, just even watching her, and whenever she speaks to you, you just listen. You don't ask questions. You don't ask her anything. You just feel like, yep, all right, I got it. And then you clarify with her at the end. But having someone like her, Jewel once again is going to teach us a lot. And even someone like NECA, today in practice, she stops plays to let us know if something isn't working. Just that veteran experience is so important. And I think it makes everyone's job easier. If the coaches don't have to get on us about energy, I think that puts us into a really good position and a championship contending team from the start. So, having some veterans like that are just willing to share with us anything. You just sit there, you listen, and then you work on the next thing. But having such star power around us is so great, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Thanks, Brendan. Let's go to Blake to close us out.
Hey ladies, how does it feel that y'all get to play with all these amazing players and actually get to see, and how would y'all describe the environment of all these practices and everything else in general?
It's awesome. Like Jay, just got done saying, it's amazing to be able to be in here with such a, amazing group of vets that just have such a high IQ and have been around this game and, know it in and out, and not only been around but been successful in it, right? So I think just to be able to learn from them, and get to take in everything that they have to say every single day, it's amazing, So I think when you couple everything together with the facility and the players, it's just a really high level of basketball that's a lot of fun at the end of the day. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna go through your lulls and ups and downs, but to be able to do it in this group that's just excited about high level basketball, it's fun at the end of the day.
And touching on that, I think KD summed it up pretty well. There was a pretty cool play to finish practice. I remember on Tuesday where I think Jewel came off an on-ball, hit Skylar on a throwback and hit Necker, and we were just like, all right, this is going to be a fun year. So just watching, the team chemistry slowly build has been fantastic. Like KD said, the veteran experience is unbelievable. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, and we're still trying to figure it all out. I mean, we've been on court for 4 days, but it's an exciting group to be around. The energy in the building's really good. It's all looking really, really fun. And it's looking like a great year.
Thank you, ladies.
Thanks, Blake. And thank you, Kayla and Jade.
Thanks, guys.
We will wrap things up here in about 2 minutes with Elena Coates, Victoria Vivians, and Quay Miller.
That's a good camera. Yeah, it is.
All right, we're set to wrap things up here with Elena, Victoria, and Quay. Let's open it up for questions here in the room. Then we will take some questions on Zoom. Percy.
Hey there, Coy, how are you doing?
Well,
Hey, I'm just curious for you. How has it been like to come home and to begin your WNBA career with your hometown team?
yeah. I got asked this question the other day, and it just feels good. Like I told the other interviewer, it's nice being home, but it's like I don't know if it's because the team knows that I'm home, but it felt like I was just being welcomed by them as well. Like they knew, like I don't know, I just felt like a little sister just coming home to big sisters in a sense, just because like the energy and like the welcome that I got was like a true like home welcoming, and it just felt really good all around.
Is it how you like envisioned it, sort of dreamed about it, like as a kid sort of growing up? It's you grew up all your life with the WNBA, right? Like you've always had it in your life, whereas a lot of your teammates didn't really have that. So like,
Yeah.
is this something that you like sort of dreamed about?
Not really. I mean, it's always something that like crossed my mind, like, oh, that would be so cool to go to WNBA, but like it doesn't get real until it happens. So just to be here, I feel like I'm still like kind of like in a shock just because I just didn't ever like I wanted it to happen, but I just didn't ever see it like happening. And it happened so fast. And the 5 years of college just went by so fast. And now I'm watching the pros that I'm playing against the pros I used to watch. And it's just like it's very surreal.
And think just the last one, just how has this week been or this past 4 days been?
Different and very competitive. But it's been real nice. It's been good. It's just really different, but it's just like it's an experience you can't really explain until you're in it. Just from me, that's how I feel about it. hmm
I've asked Quay about it already, so I won't double down on it. Just for you both, what this camp has been like for you, because obviously I talked about it with some of the players here before. It's great to have this facility. That's, obviously a big thing around here, but it's very competitive. There's a lot that's on the line for some here. What has it been like for you both just trying to put your head down and do your own thing, but also this is, pretty special in terms of the facility?
For me, I've pretty much just been basking in the experience. Coming off of, playing with Vegas last year, I was glad to be able to be picked up by somebody, and I appreciate the opportunity and just being able to be here and compete with all these girls and, just have the opportunity to, show what I got and continue to keep going. Like it's been great, and the facility is really nice, and the coaching staff and everyone's really good. And I can tell that, they're really on it and they're on a mission this year to make some great things happen. And it's just really motivating to be in this training camp because it makes you want to be a part of the team that's going to do great things.
Victoria, how did you coming here after the buyout with Indiana sort of come together?
You say, what's the question? How did that?
How did you coming here in the buyout with Indiana? How did that come together?
Honestly, I came in here with an open mind because obviously Indiana wasn't a fit for me because I asked for a buyout, but just being here has been so amazing, like a breath of fresh air, to be honest, because I feel like I need a change in my life and in the basketball world. And coming here has been that. Like the coaching staff is great, the players are great. Like it's just a good atmosphere for me, and I'm like loving it right now.
What did they kind of tell you in terms of, what they valued in bringing you in and what kind of your role would be?
Honestly, I think it's more of a 3-and-D, like make the open shot and play defense. I know my focus the entire time has been defense. Noel came in through the whole before we even started and told us our role. My role was to make the open shot and guard and defend. So that's what my focus has been the entire camp, and I feel like I've been really on it.
And Quake, how quickly did you hear from the Storm? Is that something that came together a little bit after the draft or shortly after?
Yeah, my agent called me like as soon as the draft was over.
All right, we'll take some questions on the Zoom. We'll start with Brendan Potts and then we'll go to Brad Lake.
Yeah, hey Quay. I wanted to ask about your your coach the last couple of years in college, Coach Payne. How does she kind of separate herself from the other Pac-12 or used to be Pac-12 coaches in the success your program had the last couple of years that you were there?
Um, I think Coach J just separates herself by truly just her her the way how genuine she is. I think that she truly wants the best, like for her players individually, like inside of basketball and outside. And I think that that's something that most coaches like they're just focused on getting the job done, winning games. And I can say like truly that JR cared about just the players as a whole. And that's just the experience that I got. And I just felt like anytime that I was like having an off day or felt some type of way, like I could tell JR and let her know. And she would be not okay with it, like, because I would still have to show up for practice and games, but just having that type of communication where I can go tell my head coach, like, Coach Jay, I'm having a bad day, like, and her being able to show me some compassion and empathy. You don't see that a lot, especially in the college world. So that kind of was a separation for me, and that was my experience with her. And I think that's kind of what separated, or what I felt separated her from most coaches.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So Brandon, we'll go to Brad Lake and then Blake.
Hi, ladies. Brad Lake, WBB Nation, WBB Swish. Vivian, can you speak to head coach Quinn and how she has said some very kind things about you, and how special that it's going to be to have her get you going again and possibly, be a real contributor. Yeah.
He's talking about Noel.
Yes.
And what was the question?
Oh, I apologize.
Oh,
As
it's okay.
she's spoken about you kindly and about bringing you onto the storm, how important is her coaching, her mentoring, and how all that is going to help you?
Oh, it's very important. Obviously, no, we know Noelle as a coach, but she was a player first, and she's kind of like she knows basketball really well. So it's just kind of like she's coaching and also remembering that she was a player. So is benefiting us because she knows what to tell us at the right time and when to tell us. But with her encouraging words about me, it feels great to have someone believe in me, because I feel like the past couple of years I haven't been as confident as I used to be, but I feel the confidence coming back and they're instilling everything into me. And it's been actually great. Like I feel good, I'm playing good, back to the Tori that I used to be.
All right, we'll wrap up with Blake. Blake, go ahead.
This is Blake Spadaro from Blake's Take. Elena and Victoria, y'all's alma mater, South Carolina, just won the national championship this year.
I didn't go to South Carolina. I went to Mississippi State.
What was y'all's what was y'all's what was y'all's reaction? What was y'all's reaction, and how did y'all feel?
I'm sorry, I
when
missed the question.
I know.
What was y'all's reaction when they won it, and how were the emotions?
Okay, so it actually was, the game was going on during my birthday, and I was at my birthday dinner. So I saw the 20-9 start. So I was just like, oh, okay. How are we gonna respond to this? This isn't so, so I missed a huge part of the game, but obviously I had went back through with YouTube and everything. But by the time I came back, they had turned it around, and it was probably like a minute and some change left, and they was about to win, and like literally everybody in the restaurant was just like, woo. So, go Cox.
My reaction was, but no, I love Don Staley so much. I'm so happy for her, and I'm glad they won. I'm not going to say go Cox, though.
Anyway, no, I do want to say that I was just to see Coach Staley achieve something else yet again, like amongst everybody who has everything negative to say about her and all this other stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
It was just really nice to see her win that. And it was just lovely. I love my Munchkin, and
go Staley.
Go, right. Go Staley. Go Staley.
And I have a second question for Quay. What was the best advice that you've gotten from all the veterans on the team?
Probably just to be myself. Um, that's just been the best advice. Just be myself and understand that I'm here for a reason. Because I feel like as a rookie, like you just see like vets and like just like they played for Don and like played against Don. Like I've never like just that within itself coming out of college. Like we didn't have them type of opportunities. Like we played against some good coaches, yeah, but like I don't know. I just feel like it's hard to like be grounded when you're in the presence of greatness. So just being myself and understand that I'm here for a reason and trying not to be too starstruck. It was the best compliment or the best advice.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, ladies. And
Thanks.
thank you, everybody who joined us today for our Media Day press conferences.
Go Dogs.
We'll see you playing.
Go Cox.
We'll see everybody in a few weeks.